Hello and welcome to DDOCast episode 531, recorded live on Sunday, September 9th. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have returning to the show for the first time in a while, I think, BonnieBew. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me as a guest.
Yeah, it's been a while. You recently came back to DDO, right? A little bit of a break.
I had a bit of a break, but then I've been playing at like a really, really casual level
Sure.
for a few months, for a while, really since 2018 started.
Excellent. So let's talk about the screenshot. This is Ryan gazes down at shrines in the 381st screenshot of the week. Nice little shot there. We like to talk about Dungeons & Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can watch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website at DDOCast.com. DDOCast is hosted by Cyber the awesome podcast hosting network, and shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be next Saturday. You can stay updated by following us on our social media pages at DDOCast on Twitter or DDOCast.com, where we have a calendar. Let's see, on the podcast this week, there's not a lot of game news, a little bit of community news, which mostly let Bonnie talk about some of the stuff that she is doing coming up. We also have part 2 of our Update 39 review coming after the news portion. So let's just jump right into the game news. Not a whole lot, but Linabelle kind of teased a few things about some of the Night Revels stuff that is coming. He said that Night Revels gear will now be bound to account. That will affect items currently in circulation. No need to refarm. That's always kind of fun. There are a lot of great new items this year, including a shield, a rune arm, and a lot of new fancy cosmetics. Our team has been working really hard on making Update 40 a slam dunk, so make sure to check them out. I mean, they do have also with I shouldn't really talk about it, but there's the Night Revels, and then there's also the Spectral Dragon, which fits in there somehow. They haven't really elaborated too much on what that's going to be and what that's going to look like. She also did say that she has no idea what her anniversary plans are. It's so far into the future compared to the current deadline, she hasn't given much thought. But yeah, so there you go, little teaser about Night Revels coming down the pike. You excited for Night Revels, Bonnie?
I'm pretty excited, especially because the Spectral Dragon is coming back, because that was one of my favorite things. I mean, I hated the lagging part of the Spectral Dragon, but I did really like that whole kind of temple fight situation. So I'm curious to see how they're going to bring that back. And the bound to account gear is just a blessing.
Yeah. Let's see. Bonus days, double daily dice through the weekend. You can also get for store sales. It's the last day to get double bonus points, which expire. They'll be turned off sometime in the morning on September 10th Eastern Time. So if you want to get them now. If you're listening to this live, if this is you're listening to the recording, it's probably too late. Let's see. Also, the sales for the week. Bigger is better. You get 20% off of a stack of 25 Sovereign Guild Renown Elixirs, a stack of 100 Superior Spell Point Potions, a stack of 100 Gold Seal Sovereign Healing Potions, and Colossal Ingredient and Augment Bags. And the coupon code for the week, you get plus 20% crafting success boosters times 25 with the coupon code CraftCrit now through September 13th. Those are really handy to get, and then save them for a crafting XP weekend, because you can craft things that are harder to craft, which means you get more experience for them. So a nice little trick with that one. Okay, community news. I told you there wasn't a lot of news. There's some more community news, though. So first up, the 299th Chronicle. Claver has his best screenshots of September contest. You can check out that. Chance to win 500 turbine points. Shroudpalooza begins October 6th. We're going to come back to that. DDO Central had its 4th anniversary, so if you're not familiar with that blog, you can check that out. The comment, what modern convenience should be powered by bound elementals? This is a little awkward because last week we kind of mocked the fact that bound elementals equating to slavery. However, I don't know, like personal flying cars, maybe.
I was thinking about my travel hair dryer because it really can't dry anything, and so I think an air elemental would really help that situation out.
That's probably better answer than I had. The guild for the week, Soko Erlicht is a German-speaking guild on Orion. They are level 197 and have the big ship. They have casual and pro gamers, young and old, raiders and solo players, Germans and non-Germans. They welcome veterans as well as new players that get in hand and settle in the game. They have a TeamSpeak server and even a WhatsApp group, which is not mandatory. The only requirement to join their guild is to speak and understand German on a moderate level. For more information, you can send an in-game tell to any of their members and ask for an officer, or you can contact Titus Ovid via the forum. Yeah. That's nice that they're letting just speak moderate level. Maybe if you're a German student or want to learn some German or get better at German,
that
might be a good opportunity there. So, fansite news: Ginger Spice has recently started live streaming on Twitch, so you can check out his channel. You can also see Gemini 166 run Wailing Prison. DDO Players News had episode 191. The Damsels of DDO ran the Brimstone Boulder Prison. Mickey's Raids was in week 87. Streaming with Even ran Veil of Twilight. Again, we'll come back to that. We got a shout out for DDOCast episode 530, which is part 1 of our review. And we had guest Lena Bell. And Fridays and Ice with episode 96. And of course, don't forget to watch the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live streams every Wednesday. I don't actually know the time off the top of my head, fortunately. But usually Jerry is playing DDO a little bit. Sometimes he has some devs on. He answers a lot of questions as well. So let's see, and some other blogs. Mickey's Delirium had raids week 88 as well. So link to that blog post. So let's go back to Shroudpalooza, Bonnie, because you're not doing just doing Shroudpalooza. You're doing something else with that.
It's not just me, and we're doing. Yeah. It's not just me doing Shroudpalooza, and then we're doing more than just Shroudpalooza. It's more complex and hopefully more fun and interesting to people this time around.
Please,
not that people weren't interested last time around. So 4 years ago, we did the first Shroudpalooza, and it was basically me going to all the different servers on Saturdays and running a whole bunch of Shroud and trying to meet a lot of people in the DDO community and let them hang out with each other and run these raids. And we had a lot of fun. I made friends and people that I play with now that I didn't know before Shroudpalooza and that I've played since. So I think overall it's a really great thing, and I'm hoping a lot of people come back in Shroudpalooza again if they were here 4 years ago and Shroudpalooza the first time. That's a verb now, Shroudpalooza. And I hope that new players, people who haven't maybe raided before, this is going to be a perfect time for them to try out a raid if they haven't. So we're going to start on October 6th with Atlantis. And you can go to shroudpalooza.com to find the full schedule of when we're going to visit your server if you aren't on Atlantis and you want to know when we're coming to your server. You can check out shroudpalooza.com for the full schedule. And I will also be posting it on the forums and other places as we kind of progress over time. It's not just me this time around. Evennote and Fulgrin are also helping. Even's going to be doing a lot of the hosting of streams, and Fulgrin's going to be doing some playing, and I'm going to be doing some playing, but we're also mainly going to be doing a lot of talking and trying to add some entertainment value and fun to the stream when they're going live. One thing I left out is that the time period we're doing them, they're all going to be on Saturdays, streaming between 4 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's kind of like the window to look out for. We're trying to hit a time zone where like people from the West Coast through people in Europe could conceivably participate. So that's why it's on Saturday afternoons, early evenings, East Coast time.
Do you want to talk about the extra life part of it?
One of the things that I kind of had toyed with the thought, because Extra Life has been around for 10 years now, and they've done a lot of great work. Like since they started in 2008, Extra Life has probably raised I think they've raised over $30 million to help children's hospitals provide critical medical procedures, equipment, and research in the care of sick kids. And I've supported in the past few years. Lotro has supported Extra Life. They've had Extra Life drives for the past 2 years. Like in 2016, they raised over $3,000, and last year they raised over $5,000 for Extra Life. So I was kind of thinking about this, like in the back of my head, that maybe we should do something, because I don't think DDO people have ever done anything for that specifically. They've usually just kind of maybe contributed to like a D&D related thing, or maybe because they also played Lotro, they contributed there. So I kind of had in the back of my mind. But last month, my niece started, she was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, and she's being treated for the symptoms of heart failure now. And so it kind of brought home just what Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Network hospitals do for families and for patients, because she's being treated at one of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals right now. So then it became really important to me to kind of, let's try to do an Extra Life drive and raise some money. And so I chose the Boston Children's Hospital, because that's what Lotro has been raising money for when they do an Extra Life drive. And anyone wants to contribute money to that through now, through December 26th, that would be great. I think if everyone in the DDO community comes together, it doesn't matter how big or small, really, contribute to Extra Life, we can make a big difference to a lot of families with sick kids. But in addition to that, I'm going to raffle off a year-long VIP code to everybody who donates at least $5 to Extra Life through the Shroudpalooza page. Because if you're gonna donate to Extra Life, just donate. I don't care who you donate to, really. It's more important that you donate. But if it's to someone else's page, I'm not going to know about it. So if you donate through the Shroudpalooza page, I can enter you in the raffle. And it's just like one entry per person. Somebody had a question about that on the forums. It's not like one entry per $5 you donate. It's just flat across the board, because I didn't want to be I don't know, pay to win. I'm like, have I left out anything else? I don't know.
Probably not.
I think I covered everything. Those were a lot of words. But if you have more questions or thoughts, or want to know more about Extra Life, you can go directly to my participant page, or to the Shroudpalooza participant page at Extra Life. That's extra-life.org/participant/Shroudpalooza. Or you can find a link through shroudpalooza.com.
And I'll have all of those links in the show notes, as well as the link to the forum post as well, so you can kind of get an idea of if there's anything that you want to go back and check out, or more information, more clarity, or anything like that. We'll have lots of links for it.
I know for the Lotro fundraising efforts, they had milestone tiers and stuff like that. So if people donate $30, they'd get a Ghost Bear certificate in Rivendell or something. And I don't have that. I don't know. I have a lot of mundane mimic certificates on Sarlona. So if anybody wants to donate money on Sarlona, the first 4 or 5 people could have a mimic certificate if they really want one. Just tell me with your donation.
Yeah, sure.
I can hook you up with that.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I think it's not just is Shroudpalooza or Shroudpalooza. I keep trying to add an A in there. Shroudpalooza is a fun event, but I think it's great that you're tying it into Extra Life, and it's something that's personal to you, which I think makes it even more powerful.
Yeah, I just made it more urgent. I thought, well, I think I really needed to do it then, because it was it was real life and everything. And I think the community can do a lot of good.
Yes. And historically, DDO players have done a pretty good job of supporting stuff like not just.
With Movember.
Movember.
They're really good with that.
I think Jerry did a little bit of Extra Life with.
I think they did Extra Life because Jerry's been doing the Extra Life with Lotro.
Right.
But I think more than 2 years ago, like when it was still the other company before Standing Stone Games, they did it as a company, and there were a lot of people who raised money for Extra Life.
Yeah. So that's really great. Awesome you're doing it. Moving to DDOCast news. There will be no DDOCast Splat this week. We'll be back the week after. A couple of us are not going to be able to make it, so we decided to cancel there. Let's see, and of course, DDOCast will keep going. Let's see, general gaming news. Let's talk about something boring, but also very newsworthy. So Daybreak, which is the company that publishes DDO and Lotro, had a press release announcing a joint venture with Nantworks on September 6th. And I'm not going to read all of it, but I will give you some highlights and link to the release if you want to kind of catch up on getting more into the nitty-gritty. So basically, Nantworks, a diversified holding company, today announced it has made a strategic investment in Daybreak Game Company, leading developer and publisher of multiplayer online games. In connection with the investment, Nantworks has obtained a controlling interest in a new joint venture with Daybreak, NantG Mobile, LLC, which has been formed to develop and publish mobile versions of Daybreak's current games, H1Z1 and EverQuest, and to build and publish video games across all platforms. So that's kind of the big picture thing. They kind of wanted a bunch more details about who's doing what, who's what, and all that kind of stuff. The kind of takeaway, Cordovan did post on the forums. This will have absolutely no impact on DDO team membership nor our development plans in general. It's really kind of just the publisher part of it. I think they do. There is some of the interaction between Daybreak and Standing Stone Games. Standing Stone Games does get some direction from Daybreak, but it's not really in those terms. It's more of a publishing developer relationship. It's not. They don't, as far as I know, don't tell Standing Stone Games what to make and or anything like that. So, yeah. So just want to let people know about that. We'll link to the full press release in there. It goes on and is marginally more informative and long. So
I wonder, though, for anybody who's played H1Z1, if the people who in DDO who always wanted them to revamp PvP, if like a battle royale version of PvP in DDO would like suit their fancy.
I don't know.
Or they could just drop. There would be like a dedicated server where they could just drop in and like kill each other.
Yeah.
H1Z1 style.
It's worth noting that Lord of the Rings Online and Dungeons & Dragons Online both did get shoutouts in the press release when they described what Daybreak Game Company does and publishes. So yay!
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so rarely does anyone ever mention us.
We got mentioned right alongside EverQuest, so woohoo!
Woo-woo!
All right, we're gonna close out the show here. You've already plugged a bunch. Is there anything else you want to plug, Bonnie?
I have tons of stuff to plug.
Oh man, have at it.
I am going to be on Even. I'm streaming with Even later tonight. But if you're listening to this later, you might want to watch streaming with Even the week after that, or even the week after that, because I think we're doing the same thing every single week, which is pretty much shroud flagging on different servers for Shroudpalooza, getting characters ready. So if you are on one of the particular servers we're playing on and you need to flag for Shroudpalooza, then you might want to hit us up during that stream. I think it starts at 11 o'clock Eastern, Sunday nights on DDO stream on Twitch. The other thing that's upcoming, I'm going to, you can already read details about it on Shroudpalooza.com. And I'm going to be posting on the forums a little bit later in the week. I just didn't want to drown the forums with posts from me because, it's all a lot of fun stuff and I just didn't want to drown anybody with information. But we're also going to do an art contest, and it's going to be like a Joy of Shroudpalooza, Joy of Shroud themed art contest. So it's basically any kind of things you want to create. that have to do with Shroud or the Veil of Twilight or Eretricos, that kind of stuff. We want all your pictures and, pictures of any crocheted pit fiends that you've done, or, dioramas of, I don't know, I've already forgot. Eladrin. Yeah, dioramas of Eladrin. Shooting off that light damage on people. I don't know, any of that kind of stuff. There will be prizes. There's going to be a participation raffle, and there's going to be a poll, assuming we actually get entries. I mean, I'm not entirely holding my breath that we're going to get any entries, but if we do, well, we're going to pick like our 4 favorite and kind of do a poll, let people pick the winner, and they'll also get a prize. So there's a raffle for just participating, and then first place kind of thing. But if you're interested, go to Shroudpalooza.com and read about it, or look out on the forums later on the week for details.
Excellent. So thanks to Bonnie for joining me today, and thanks to everyone for listening, and thanks to all the contributors for DDOCast, and thanks to Sandstone Games and Wizards of the Coast, and to Cyberus for hosting the podcast. One kind of more quick thing I want to mention, we are gearing up to do more D&D night on DDO stream, which we're working on bringing that to be a weekly thing on Sundays from 7 to 10 Eastern time. I have to translate from Pacific to Eastern.
Yay!
If you ever wonder why all of the announcements I do are in Pacific time, it's because I'm lazy. That's really all it is, and I don't want to deal with the math. In any case, so the next time we're playing is the next one is, I believe, on the 23rd. I think it's in 2 Sundays.
Yeah.
And then going into October, the plan is to be doing it weekly. So look forward to that as well. If you'd like to support DDOcast, you can visit our website, DDOcast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. If you have a DDO-themed webpage, or you Twitch DDO and you'd like to be featured on our website, you can email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up at DDOcast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to be part of the show, have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, or a topic you'd like to hear us discuss, or you just want to say hi, leave us a comment, or you can email me at DDOcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media and follow our latest cast updates at DDOcast on Twitter is the best place, but there's also a Facebook page. Our closing tip week comes from Tlabak on Kyber. Ask questions of players. Players give quality advice without cutting people down, generally. So stay tuned for part 2 of our Update 39 review. All right, welcome back to our Update 39 review. This is part 2. Last time we talked about the quests and the loot. This time we'll be talking about probably mostly enhancement stuff, because that was another big feature of kind of some of the stuff that came out. We've got Arkat with us this week.
Good morning.
And Evennote as well.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah. So we'll just jump right back into things. Like I said, enhancement trees. We saw a bunch of, or not a bunch, but we saw a couple changes here and some new ads. And let's start with the falconry tree, which was the new universal enhancement tree, where you get a pet. The devs did say that in my interview with them from a couple weeks ago, that this was partly a dry run for familiars, and kind of looking at the idea of having an arcane-specific universal enhancement tree to have familiars. But we got falconry tree, and let's just jump right in. What do you guys think about the falconry tree?
I can't wait to try it. I am currently working on a new build for my monk. As soon as I've got it finalized, she's going to TR, and because it looks amazing for a whiz-based melee. And a lot of whiz-based tunes, but a whiz-based melee, I think it will be amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of echo on that. The wisdom to hit and damage is going to be pretty spiffy for battle clerics, battle souls, and especially your wisdom-based monks. It's going to be great. One of the things that I'd like to add, however, is, and several people on the forums have pointed this out, that this tree makes a better war priest, battle cleric, war priest, than the actual war priest enhancement tree. So I think the devs need to spice up the war priest enhancement tree a little bit in light of this tree.
The one thing that the war priest tree has, though, is it has improvements to critical profile, and I don't think falconry does, right?
No, the war priest does not have improvements to
Doesn't I thought it did.
No, that's they gave that to the war soul.
Oh, okay, got it.
But they don't. Right. You don't get it for the war priest.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's definitely kind of a bummer. Yeah. That's the thing that jumped out to me pretty quick too with the falconry tree is if you wanted to be either melee or ranged as a cleric or favored soul, you're gonna probably go pretty heavy into this tree and at the expense of the other trees, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of nice stuff there. There is a lot of nice things here for a monk too. Although, I am using this on my DDOCast Black character, and since the last episode, the last time we played, I just redid some enhancements to get some more of the attacks. The attacks are kind of slow, so they don't. If you're in a really short fight, they don't land because it takes a little bit of a wind up. So lead with them if you're going to use them for sure. But the wisdom to hit and damage is pretty nice. I can tell you from a monk perspective, it's really hard to fit a lot of this stuff in because monk you're pretty much locked into to spending at least 11 points in Ninja Spy just for the incorporality clicky. And I think Shintao is pretty popular these days. And if you want to get a capstone, you got to spend 41 points somewhere else. And it was hard there were some hard choices, and I could really use some more action points on my monk. And I don't want to, but there may need to be some racial past lives to kind of make some of it all work.
Yep.
Because I could really use another 4 or 5 action points in this tree to kind of get some stuff down there. But there is some really nice stuff there. I think another build that would probably really benefit from this, and I haven't played around with it yet, is a melee druid. I think would probably have fewer action point challenges compared to a monk. That's kind of a hot take for me, though. I haven't actually really played around with it yet. But I think there could be some fun stuff with that tree, with that kind of build as well. But I will say that though that the birds do have a pretty good DC effectiveness. I have noticed them to be, and part of it's because they go off of character level. But even when we were running kind of a big deal and another man's treasure, right? Like the trip one was landing.
Right, I saw that several times.
Yeah, so that was pretty nice. Adds a little bit of CC in there. I will say, from a perspective of a monk and someone who doesn't like having a lot of buttons to push for special attacks, getting
monk
overloaded.
Isn't for you, Patrick.
I like the monk. There's a lot of.
I love monk. Yeah, sure.
I love monk, but there's a lot of button mashing. Yeah. That's one of my kind of fears that I'm gonna wear on my keyboard.
When I go back into Grandmaster, it's not gonna get better.
No, it's gonna get a lot worse.
But run out of room. I already had to take Quivering Palm off of my my main hotbar to fit in the extra bird attack or two that I picked up. So.
Oh, I don't know. The Quivering Palm is something I would want to give up.
I didn't give it up. I just took it off the hotbar. It tends not to land as reliably as other things, anyways. When you get higher levels and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like the tree a lot.
The tree has got a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, and it helps out a lot of classes. I mean, there's like a +3 to your assassinate for your assassin rogues. There's a chance to recover, arrows and bolts, at a like 80% chance to recover if you take all 3 ranks. I mean, there's things like true seeing. There's +5% to hit points. You got no mercy that's on there. I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff for a lot of different characters on there. I think they did a good job with adding some variety to the to the tree.
No mercy is one of the things I couldn't get.
It's pretty high up in the tree, so yeah.
Well, it was between that and exposed weakness, which gives the bird attacks reducing target fortification by 50%, which will be really handy in raids.
Sure.
And deadly instinct. And even then, I only had enough points to take 2 ranks of deadly instinct.
Wow.
I know. I told you, action points are hurting the monk here.
I also thought the capstone was exceptional. +2 to all stats and freedom of movement. I thought was a very, very nice capstone. Although, how many people are going to spend 41 points in the tree?
Probably not a lot.
So.
Probably not a lot. All right. The next one to talk about is Beacon of Hope, which is also a new tree. This is for favored souls. I have not. I did spend points into it, but I have not really played it a whole lot. I kind of tooled around a little bit with it. And I will say that I do like the play style of it, like the cone. What do they call them? Beacons.
The walls.
The
walls of healing.
No, the beacon that you shoot out, the actual Beacon of Hope and Beacon of Grace. I liked the play style of that. Oh. That was kind of fun. To kind of try to aim and stuff like that. It's a little bit different. That. I think this is going to. It's already becoming a pretty popular one, but I think it's going to be a pretty popular tree just in general. I think one of the things I'm noticing making a comeback because of high level Reaper and raiding is getting Divine Intervention, which is not in this tree. It's in the War Priest and War Soul tree, I believe. But if you really want that enhancement, I think going Favored Soul is probably a stronger choice than going Cleric, because I think the Beacon of Hope tree is a stronger. It feels to me like it's a stronger healing tree than Radiant Servant for kind of a Reaper mode, because you have a little bit of range. You're not giving, like, Radiant Servant, the big thing with that is the healing aura, which means you have to be close, which is not great in Reaper. Things hit harder. But 2, that's a tier 5, so it conflicts directly with the Divine Intervention. So I think if you want Divine Intervention, it feels to me like Beacon of Hope is probably the one you're going to want to go for more than Radiant Servant. Again, a little bit of a hot take for me, but that's kind of where I land on some of that.
I like the SLAs, a couple of the SLAs for Beacon of Hope.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, the Raise Dead and the Heal SLAs are pretty good. All you need is like 5 levels of Favored Soul, and you can raise the dead, or you can cast a heal. And of course, the heal would be only 50 hit points healed, but it also gets all your ability, cures all your ability damage and all those conditions, like poison, etc. And so it's those are some pretty nice SLAs to have. If you're just splashing, Favored Soul, they're good things to have. I'm glad they added those to the tree.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a fully mated heal for 40 spell points because it's an SLA, and thinking, wow, yes, why did my cleric not have this before I TR'd her? Because they came out with this after she TR'd, which, yeah, maybe she'll go Favored Soul next time, because that's really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in there, for sure.
And the Favored Souls are nice, too, because they get more spell points than clerics do, so,
To give an idea of what, like, theoretical plausibility, there's a guy from my guild that Arkat and I run with, and he on his he TR'd his cleric into a favored soul, and he broke 10,000 spell points.
Yeah,
which is
damn
insane. A lot of spell points.
Is he running Beacon of Hope, and is Heal doing Beacon of Hope?
Yes, but he's got DI. I know he has DI.
Okay.
Character. He says he's gonna go back to cleric because he likes cleric better, but we'll see. But yeah, there's the other thing about Beacon of Hope that we didn't really talk about is the buffing, which is kind of an interesting mechanic. This was not something that I played around with a lot, but I think there is some kind of fun aspects of that.
Almost some bard-like buffing type things.
And they last. I mean, they last for 20 seconds with a 6-second cooldown. So if you had nothing else to do, you could hit 3 people with them in your party, which isn't too bad. Presumably, you will be needed to provide some healing in between these, so it's unlikely you'd be able to keep 3 people powered up with these things. But there is definitely some options there. Tier 5 is really nice in Beacon of Hope, but I think a lot of people that I'm running with are taking Divine Intervention. But if you're not doing high level Reaper raiding and stuff like that, you probably could go up to Tier 5 and would be going to Tier 5, and there's some fun stuff there. The wall of healing I think is a lot of fun. And again, I think it plays a little bit better than Radiant Servant, right? Because it's a range thing. I think that a lot of people like that as well.
Yes, if you're more of a healery type and you're not beefed up for melee, that lets you kind of hang back. You don't have to be in the fray as much as you do with like a sparkly feet type cleric.
Yeah, I think Favored Soul is a stronger healer than cleric is now with Beacon of Hope. There are some other things that changed too. With the other trees, I don't know if you guys want to talk about that. They definitely boosted up the power a little bit. Having a Sunbolt SLA at level 3 is fantastic for a Favored Soul. But none of it was really earth shattering for me. In the way
Angel of Vengeance wasn't a big deal as far as I was concerned. But I did like a couple of changes in the War Soul tree. You got that. Your Divine Power gave you +1 crit multiplier. It's a competence bonus. And at Tier 2, you now get an action boost haste, which I thought was, almost as good as getting that crit multiplier addition. So my War Soul is quite a bit happier.
But that was only for the Favored Soul version, not the Cleric version, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, War Priest didn't get either of those, no haste boost or the crit multiplier. So they, like I said earlier, they really need to, spice up the War Priest a little bit.
Clerics have the domain stuff, but if you're just looking at the enhancement trees, it feels much more like Favored Soul or winning compared to, or are gonna be more powerful than the Cleric versions.
Right. I guess War Priest, they're expecting, if somebody wants the crit multiplier, that they'll take the War Domain and then get that, at 14th level, get that Holy Sword.
And I guess that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I can see how they would go in with that. The other class they got to change is Barbarians. They didn't get huge enhancement changes. They kind of tweaked something. The biggest thing was at the top of each tree was something that affected your critical multiplier or your critical profile. Either a critical multiplier, critical threat range, both. Those were all previously tied to you had to be raging. That is no longer the case. They untied that, so you don't have to be raging to get that anymore. Which is I think thematically, I understand why people were kind of upset about that, but I think from a playstyle standpoint, I think the devs are right in that it doesn't make any sense that this character should be that much worse when they're not raging.
Right. Right.
And I think that was a good assessment and change there. I will say, And I can't really put a finger on it, but my Barbarian is doing more damage by a pretty decent margin. I don't know why that is exactly. It may be partly because of that, and when I'm outside of raging, but I feel like even when I've been raging, I've been seeing bigger numbers.
Well,
I don't know why that is.
Well, you had to respend your points because those rage what do you call it, enhancements used to be two action points per, but now they're one thing. So you've had an extra couple of points to spend elsewhere that might be increasing your DPS a little bit.
It's a shame they didn't give my monk more points to spend.
Oh God, that would be awesome. Yeah. But so that might account for at least some of your increased DPS.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I couldn't really put. I know part of it is that when I'm not raging, I'm getting the critical profile increase. But the other part of it, I couldn't quite put a finger on it.
I love the Occult Slayer one though. The Occult Metalline, I like that one the best out of all of them.
Occult Slayer is the tree that I like the least. I generally gravitate towards Frenzied Berserker, mostly because kind of the build concept for him is bigger numbers. So, and you can get +3 to your. I think you get +3 to your multiplier because you get +2 with the enhancement. I think Death Frenzy gives you another +1. So I just like the big number. Barbarian big numbers. It's always kind of been a thing for me. So.
Smash all the things.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I think it's it was a little. I was a little surprised about how much my Barbarian improved from those changes. And I think this is probably a good time as any to mention the changes for Barbarian DR coming, which I think will be fantastic. They haven't landed yet. We're not sure if they're going to land with patch 2 or not. We're not even sure when patch 2 is going to come out. In fact, it may come out before this segment airs because we record the whole thing at once. So this will be a little inside baseball. It'll be about a week after we record this. This part will come out. It may come out in between. I don't know. But I am excited about that. I think that's going to be a huge benefit to barbarians everywhere. All right. Evennote, anything you want to say about the barbarians here?
No, I haven't played my barbarian a lot lately, but now that you've said that yours is doing more damage, maybe I need to get her out this weekend because she's definitely a smash all the things type barbarian.
I've always been partial to barbarians. Although I think I do have a common thing of, like, I play them and then I find something that works better. So I don't know. I like my barbarian though, and these changes are going to be big. I've even been considering the idea of splashing barbarian into my tank for some of the DR percentage as opposed to wizard for AC bonus. I don't know where I'm going to land, but it's something I've been considering. So I think those will be fun and helpful.
Yeah, you guys got me getting psyched to play a barbarian.
I think with the other thing with the barbarian percentage damage reduction, well, one, like Arkat and I were talking about last week, it'd be great to see that like filter out through the rest of the game, because DR is kind of woefully ineffective. But also, I think a barbarian druid would be kind of a good combination there as well. Especially if you wanted to be a bear tank, a couple of barbarian would be pretty helpful there. All right, so we're gonna wrap this section up. We'll finish our review of Update 39 next time. So thanks for listening. Thanks to Arkat and Evennote for joining me today. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOCast.com, or you can support us on Patreon. You can also find show notes, past shows, and more on our website, DDOCast.com. You can find us on social media and follow us latest cast updates at DDOCast on Twitter. And if you'd like to join the discussion, leave a comment or email us at ddocast@gmail.com. So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your chest level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather from us.